experience of my eagerness, joy, and happiness. He gave from his heart, and that was communicated far beyond words. Mike Grebe experienced abundant joy in so many ways. For him, everything was the best. This is the best salami sandwich I've ever had. This is the best scrambled eggs and Cheez-Its I've ever had. To this day, I find myself saying the same thing and thinking of him. I couldn't be more proud and pleased that he taught me to love everything I experienced fully, with zest and zeal and a total lack of self-censorship. Mike Grebe died when I was 10 years old, and while I have lived most of my life without his physical presence, I have never lived a moment without him. I think of him every day, and I have known throughout my entire life that should I be blessed with a son, I would name him in Grebe's honor. They are big shoes to fill, really, really big shoes. But I know that if our son can embody Mike Grebe's kind heart, gentle spirit, and love of life, he will grow to live a full life and will be a gift to our world.
I just have to add that he already has gigantic feet. So he is on his way. He is well on his way.
Matthew's middle name, Ronen, is given in loving memory of Tina's maternal grandmother, her bubby, Faye Rosetta Schaefer. And here's what Tina wrote. My bubby was a study in contradictions. She was strong and sensitive. She was mathematical and creative. She was serious and silly. As a child, I thought I called her Bubby because she would blow bubblegum bubbles, which entertained me no end. It was only as I got older that I realized Bubby was the Yiddish, Bubbe, but calling her Bubby for her bubbles made perfect sense to me. My Bubby was an incredibly talented baker. Her yeast cake, babka, and rugelach were beyond compare, yet her cooking was sometimes terrible. Again, a glorious contrast. We would all laugh as she would announce upon serving almost every meal. I don't use salt. It might need salt. If you want salt, add your own salt. There's salt on the table. My bubby was an incredibly talented knitter. She knit me many stunning sweaters. But the greatest knitting memory I have of her is sitting at the pool in the summer in Summit, New Jersey, finishing a big, thick wool sweater that I had started knitting. When I was in college, knitting was quite the rage. I had started a big, bulky woolen turtleneck sweater, perfect for the winters of New Hampshire. But I tired of the project after I completed the 3-inch waist of the sweater. I asked her if she would consider finishing the sweater for me. And to be honest, finishing the sweater really meant knitting the whole thing. She simply took the part I had started, all of my yarn, and never said another word. She didn't say, why would you start such a big wool sweater? How would you think you have time? You want me to knit a wool sweater in the summer? Nothing, not a word. She took it from me and got to work. I can't imagine what knitting a thick wool sweater in 90+ degree heat and humidity while sitting at the pool was an ideal scenario, but I guess to her it was. My bubby was a professional bookkeeper. She made it clear to me from an early age that I should always be knowledgeable about my own finances. She simply felt that it would be wise for all people to be informed. You don't have to work, you don't have to have separate bank accounts, you don't have to manage your own money, but you must be informed. She was practical, and she knew that the knowledge of one's finances is part of being a responsible and, if need be, independent person. Bubby was the only one I wanted to see when I broke up with my college boyfriend. I was deeply saddened, though it was my decision, and I knew it was the right one. I couldn't at the time articulate why, but I had an inner drive that impelled me to seek her comfort. Another contrast, as emotional support wasn't always something she managed with ease or tenderness. Yet on the deepest level, it was always there. I think I also knew that her sense of self and determination would confirm my decision. When I was in graduate school, my bubby's diabetes began to win its battle. She began dialysis and soon discovered that her life had become more of an existence than a life. She no longer had the energy to go to museums, see shows in New York, or play mahjong with her friends. This was not the way she had lived her life, fully, with joy, with myriad experiences, time with friends and family. She decided that it was time to end the dialysis. It was time to say goodbye. During Bubby's days in the hospital, I learned one of my greatest lessons about life, the most true and deep meaning of life. She'd been in the hospital for several days. My mom and I arrived first thing in the morning, as we had done the prior days. that day she was sitting up in bed. We walked in the door. She threw up her arms in dismay and exclaimed, "Can you believe it? I'm still here." It wasn't that she didn't treasure her life or take the concept of death seriously. It was simply that she had made her decision. She had lived a beautiful life. She had said what she needed to say to all the people who mattered to her. So let's go already. And that is the lesson she taught me. Live your life the way you want. Enjoy it. Treasure it. Take as much control of it as you can. And when you don't have control, accept that and move forward. Life doesn't last forever, and it's not meant to. My mom and I visited Bubby every day while she was in the hospital, and it was a surprisingly happy time. It was at her bedside that she said to me, "When you have a child, no weird names." That was it. That was the sum total of her advice. It was simple, straightforward, practical, and it magically conveyed her sensitivity while simultaneously hiding it. I have every confidence that the reason she provided this advice was for the comfort of the child. It's not an easy thing for a child to have an unusual name. Yet she didn't provide an explanation, just a clear and simple decree. I knew that I would honor Bubby's decree, and we have. In her honor, we have chosen a familiar first name and a middle name that is a tribute to her middle name, Rosetta. The name we chose is Ronen, and some might say that to the ears of an American it's a weird name, but she never said anything about the middle name not being weird. So with great love, admiration, and what we hope will be a life of good humor and joy, we have chosen Ronen. And I just want to let you know that thanks to the generosity of our hosts, you will all get a copy of the complete remarks that Tina wrote about her grandparents, along with a little gift that she's giving in their honor. As it is said, the righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. For good and righteous people are upright in their deeds, fruitful and sweet in their ways, providing nourishment to all those around them. So may the spirit of these good and honored elders live on in this boy, Matityahu Ronen. May your Hebrew name be a blessing to you, linking you in love to your family, to the Jewish people, and to those who came before. I'd like to invite your parents who have loved and sheltered you to wrap this talit around you as you prepare to love and shelter this little boy.
As we wrap our son in this talit, so may his life be wrapped in righteousness. As we embrace him today, so may he grow up to embrace the beauty of Jewish tradition.
Together, a blessing from the community. We pledge our love and support to this cherished family. This little child may grow and be strong. May we be privileged to share in his life and to help him thrive. Kashem, repeat after me. Kashem, Shenichnas, Labrit, Ken Yikanes, LaTorah, Lechupa, Ulemaasim Tovim. Together, as he has entered the covenant today, so may he be led to the study of Torah, to a good and loving marriage, and to deeds of kindness and compassion.
We dedicate our child to Torah, to a never-ending fascination with study and learning.
With a book, he will never be alone.
We dedicate our child to chuppah, to never-ending growth as a human being capable of giving and receiving love.
With a loving mate, he will never be alone.
We dedicate our child to ma'asim tovim, to a never-ending concern for family and community, justice and charity.
If he cares for others, he will never be alone.
We pray for wisdom to help our child achieve these things.
To fulfill the needs of his mind and body.
To be strong when he needs us to be strong.
To be gentle when he needs us to be gentle.
But always there when he needs us. The gift of a child is a miracle of renewal. We stand together this day contemplating a miracle.
Matthew Ronen Jennings, we pray for your continued health and strength. May you grow steadily and sturdily in the arms of those who love you. May you find peace and comfort with your parents who have welcomed you into their home. And may you help bring peace to this world, which now is yours. With love, we honor you with our most ancient words of blessing, the oldest blessing in the Torah. I want to invite your parents also to put their hands on your shoulders. This blessing comes from them, from all the generations who came before you, and from this loving community. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May the light of God shine upon you and within you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Feel God's presence with you always, and may you have the blessing of shalom, of wholeness and peace. Together, we lift up the cup of joy and celebrate the sweetness of this day. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. So let's just share the cup once again. If you like, you could dip your finger. And together we join in giving thanks to the Holy One for giving us life, for sustaining us in life, and for bringing us to this joyous day. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu, v'kiyanu, v'higianu, l'zman hazeh. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yeheilanu, yeheilanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yeheilanu, yeheilanu, u'lecho Yisrael.
It's like so content, just like, yeah, all right.
Thank you all for being here. Jay and I have been thinking about this day for 7 years or more. And you have all been with us in our hearts and in our journey. And I couldn't hope for a more joyous way to celebrate than with all of you. Thank you all for being here. It's just the most glorious day. Just a smidge ahead of us getting married, but only barely. And one would not have happened without the other. So thank you all, and we can now thoroughly enjoy.
Like to say
I'm so
something.
sorry.
I have to get in the last one. I have been getting messages all morning from friends in New Jersey, New York, and wishing our family all good luck. And yesterday I had 14 phone messages that I listened to them. 5 of them were from my friend who's 94 years old, who remembers me when I was a baby. And she said that she has loved Tina from the time she was born, and she wishes her all the best. And she knows how much we love Jay and how we feel so blessed by this beautiful little boy, and our hearts are just filled with joy. And she wishes she could be here, but in spirit she certainly is. Thank you all.
Our wise rabbi has informed me I should let you know you can all eat.